On today's episode of the franchise, episode number 10, we are going over it's a lot of things. It's been a few days since the last episode. This episode was gonna come out earlier in the week, but I am sick and my eyes have pink eye. And if you're watching on YouTube, you could probably see it, and it hurts. So we had to push it back to Thursday. It's coming out on Friday, so the episode's very, very late. A lot of stuff is basically outdated in sports. Here's what we're going over. Tennessee taking down Alabama, as well as some other stuff that happened in college football. Looking ahead to the next weekend. NFL Week 6 recap, as well as Week 7 preview. The Dodgers lost to the Padres. We're going to go over the MLB Championship Series, the AL and NLCS. The NBA regular season just started. Going to go through some NFL contenders and pretenders. And Christian McCaffrey just got traded in the NFL. So I guess we'll begin with the most recent news of Christian McCaffrey getting traded to the San Francisco 49ers. He's been rumored to be traded basically since head coach Matt Rule got fired 2 weeks ago. Earlier in the week, they already traded Robbie Anderson. We'll get to that a little bit later. So it's really been a fire sale, and this has been coming up for a little while, of Christian McCaffrey eventually getting out of Carolina and getting traded. And he goes to the 49ers. A lot of teams have been rumored, to be interested in a guy like Christian McCaffrey, such as the Rams, the 49ers division rival, the Bills, the Buccaneers, the Chiefs, all of the upper echelon teams in the NFL, teams that are really looking to compete for a Super Bowl title. But the Rams get their guy. They get Christian McCaffrey, and when he is on the field and playing and he is healthy, he's one of the best players and best running backs and best dual threat weapons in the game of football. The biggest thing for him the past 2 seasons has been health. This year, though, he's very healthy. I mean, he's been on the field for every single game, and he's been putting up some numbers. So the Niners get him. What does Carolina get for Christian McCaffrey, their franchise player, the best player on their squad? They get a second-round pick, a third, a fourth in this year's draft, 2023, and a fifth in 2024. It's a pretty big haul for Christian McCaffrey. From all reports, the Panthers wanted at least a first-round pick. That's really that'd be really hard to get for a guy McCaffrey who's older, injury-prone, and is a running back. One of the most replaceable positions in the game of football in this day and age. So the Niners get rid of a lot. They didn't have a lot to begin with. They traded a lot of their first-round picks a few years back for Trey Lance, and now they just traded their second, third, and fourth-round picks in this year's draft for Christian McCaffrey. So if I'm correct about this, the Niners only have a sixth and a seventh round pick in the 2023 draft. So, maybe a fifth, sixth, and seventh round pick. This move though for the this move though for the 49ers is a move that definitely bumps them up among the NFC contenders list. Right now, the 49ers are 3-3. They've had some good wins, but they've had some tough losses as well. But when you look at this offense and what it's going to be like with Kyle Shanahan, their head coach, who has a very good offensive system, what is it going to look like with Christian McCaffrey? Well, you're going to have Deebo Samuel still there, who's able to come out of the backfield and run a lot of different schemes and a lot of different plays in different types of personnel, which is exactly what Christian McCaffrey is going to bring to this 49ers squad. He's able to come out of the backfield and be lined up as a receiver, which is basically what Deebo Samuel does. So now you got two guys that do that, who are some of the best players in the game. And then you got George Kittle, great tight end, just slowly working into the season after having a groin injury. They got Brandon Ayuk, and they have one of the best offensive lines in the game. They don't have Trey Lance, who is a guy that you would like to, have seen this season, but they do have Jimmy Garoppolo. And Jimmy Garoppolo is a guy who has led a team led a team to a Super Bowl. You could argue the defense really did that year, but either way, he was the quarterback of a team that made it to the Super Bowl and has made multiple NFC Championship games over the past 5 seasons. So adding Christian McCaffrey makes this offense that much better. They are really the team to beat in the NFC West. When you look at the Rams, they have a lot of problems on offense with their offensive line and running back. And outside of Cooper Kupp, this team has some holes. Seattle, they're having a great start. Geno Smith is looking like a guy, but you don't trust their defense. They have one of the worst ranked defenses in the game of football. They're in the bottom 3 defensively, depending on what statistic you look at. And the Cardinals, they did pick up a win on Thursday night. They're 3-4 now, but there's been some struggles for them. But you can't really count out any of these teams really in the NFC West. But the 49ers, with the best defense in the game of football, bringing in Christian McCaffrey to bump up their offense really brings them up as one of the best teams in the NFC. And for the Panthers, they're trying to restart. Seems like they've been rebuilding since Cam Newton left, and it has been a very unsuccessful and rough rebuild so far. So maybe they'll be able to get it right with some of these picks that they got for Christian McCaffrey. Moving on, though, NFL Week 6 is long gone. Week 7's Thursday night football game just happened. So I'm not really going to talk about all these games. I'll just run through some of them. The Niners did lose their last game. They lost to the Falcons 28-14. Jets pick up a big win over the Green Bay Packers. Jets go up to 4-2 on the season. Packers lose their second straight game to a New York team, and they fall to 3-3. Minnesota Vikings improved to 5-1, beating the Miami Dolphins 24-16 in Miami. The Cincinnati Bengals pick up a win in New Orleans. Jamar Chase has himself a game. 7 receptions, 132 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Joe Burrow, 300 yards and 3 touchdowns passing. Bengals 30, Saints 26. Ravens lose their third game of the season. They fall to the New York Giants. Giants are 5-1. Ravens have choked a lot of the games they have lost. Lamar struggles for his 3rd straight week, and the Giants' defense is 8th in points allowed per game this season. And the Giants are 5-1. What the heck? Tampa Bay, the Buccaneers lose to the Pittsburgh Steelers, one of the worst teams in the NFL this season. Kenny Pickett out with a concussion. Mitchell Trubisky steps in and wins the day. Tom Brady yells at the offensive line for struggling a lot. We'll see if they can bounce back and win. Panthers, worst team in the league, lose to the Rams by a score of 24-10. They're now 1-5. P.J. Walker, 3rd-string quarterback, got the start with Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold out for this game. He went 10 of 16 for 60 yards. And Christian McCaffrey's last game with the Panthers, 13 carries, 69 yards. Rams looking to trade Cam Akers. CMC was definitely among their guys that they wanted to get. Unfortunately, he will not be a Los Angeles Ram. Arizona Cardinals, they did just win on Thursday night, which I'll recap, but in Week 6, they lost to the Seahawks by a score of 19-9. Arizona's really struggled offensively in the first quarter and first half, but DeAndre Hopkins is back, and we'll get to that in a little bit. Game of the weekend in Week 6 was the Buffalo Bills heading to Kansas City for a AFC divisional rematch between some of the 2 best players and 2 best teams in the game. Bills win 24-20. They improved to 5-1 on the season. Josh Allen, 329 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. Diggs, 148 yards and a touchdown. Davis with a 74-yard touchdown as well. We'll have a conversation about this. If Mahomes and Allen, is it the next Brady Manning, Brady Rodgers type of game? And finally, from Week 6, the Denver Broncos were once again on primetime, and they are probably the worst and most frustrating team to watch. Their offense is stagnant and dead, and Russell Wilson is really playing some bad football. And for a Broncos team that had very, very high expectations set for them at the beginning of the season, they are not living up to that. The Chargers win after Justin Herbert throws 57 pass attempts. They're now 4-2. Dustin Hopkins, Chargers kicker, 4 for 4 on field goals with a hamstring injury. Bro is limping after every single kick. He's going to be out for a few weeks, but he gets them the win. Who's to blame for the Broncos' struggles? And I guess that's what we'll get into right now. Just a quick little rundown. But for the Broncos, let's talk about this. Denver's 2-4. They are third place in the AFC West, but I think you can say that they are the worst team in this division. The Raiders may have a worse record. They may be 1-4. But when you look at the Raiders and the Broncos, the Raiders, they have beat the Broncos this season. But the Raiders have a better offense. They don't have a better defense, but offensively, the Raiders are going to score more points. The Broncos' offense is a mess. I mean, Russell Wilson is not playing good football. 188 yards and a touchdown against the Chargers. You look at his first half and first quarter against the Chargers, he was playing great. He was playing like, he wasn't playing like you'd expect Russell Wilson to play, especially when a guy that you're paying $200 million to. But he was playing better than he had in previous weeks. But that second half, he played horrible. He was not able to get anything going for the Broncos. And there was a lot of frustration on the sidelines. You saw Melvin Gordon and Jerry Jeudy talk with very frustrated looks on their faces. KJ Hamler. I mean, all of these guys are very, very frustrated. And whose fault is it? Is it Russell Wilson's fault? Or is it Nathaniel Hackett, the head coach? I mean, you look at the first game of the season, Nathaniel Hackett didn't call timeout. He had like 3 timeouts and 20 seconds left. He didn't call a single one. So, I mean, there's definitely blame on both sides of this argument. Is Russell Wilson not playing good football? Yes. He is not playing like Russell Wilson of years past, and Russell Wilson, the guy that you traded multiple first-round picks, a young tight end, a quarterback who has not been good, right, but is still a serviceable player. Personally, that's what I believe. And you also just paid him $250+ million without him ever playing a snap for you. You did that in the offseason. And Russell Wilson is not living up to what you would expect him to be like when you're paying him this much money, and he is the the leader of your team in your offense. You can just tell that Russell Wilson wants this team to work. It's not working so far, so it definitely needs to get better. You're right, and for Nathaniel Hackett, I mean, he was the Green Bay Packers offensive coordinator last season, and the hire for him, the reason the Broncos hired him, I believe this true wholeheartedly. And this is what a lot of rumors and reports were during the offseason. Nathaniel Hackett was supposed to bring Aaron Rodgers from the Packers, right? That is why the Broncos hired him. If you remember, 2 offseasons ago, Aaron Rodgers requested a trade. Didn't get it. This was the offseason that we were believing before he signed his extension, that Aaron Rodgers would be on the move. Where would he go? Denver, San Francisco. Would he go to Miami? Where would Aaron Rodgers go? Ultimately, he signs an extension with the Packers. But when Nathaniel Hackett is offensive coordinator with the Packers, signs as the head coach with the Broncos, the expectation, not only with the Broncos, but around the league, was that he was going to bring over Aaron Rodgers. Obviously, was not able to do that, so they go and they pivot, and they get Russell Wilson. The gap between Rodgers and Wilson is very big. But the gap between Russell Wilson and Drew Lock is bigger than that. So, obviously, it was a good move at the time. But I guess we'll see going forward the next few years as Russell Wilson is signed for, 5 more seasons? Getting paid millions and millions of dollars, like $20 plus, $30 plus million. The Broncos better hope that Russell Wilson steps his game up, because this will be one of the worst trades, worst deals in NFL history if Russell Wilson does not step up and get better. Contenders or pretenders? Which of these teams around the NFL, how do I view them? The Buffalo Bills, they're contenders. They have one of the best defenses in the league, and they have a top 2 quarterback. Josh Allen is a top 2 quarterback. They have a great a great offense with a lot of receiving weapons, and they don't have a run game, right? Devin Singletary is a very hit or miss guy. Christian McCaffrey would have definitely helped out their roster, but the Bills are definitely capable, with the right personnel and right guys in the backfield, of being a team that can rush the ball. But with Josh Allen and a defense led by like Von Miller and Poyer and Tre'Davious White and Edmonds, the Bills are the best team in football. The Kansas City Chiefs are pretenders too. Yes, they just lost to the Bills, but Mahomes, Kelsey, Andy Reid, this team's going to be there. They're contenders. The Eagles, they're the only undefeated team left. They are 6-0. They're the second best team in football for me, number 2 in the power rankings. They're contenders too. Their offense is insane. One of the best O-lines in football. Great running game with Hurts and Sanders. And their passing game with A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert, and Devontae Smith is among one of the NFL's top. And a amazing defense led by Darius Slay. Eagles are contenders. Vikings, I would say they're contenders too. Their strength really lies solely on offense. They have one of the best offenses in the game right now. Defensively, they have a lot of holes and a lot of struggles, which is where they might get hurt come postseason time. But right now, they're contenders. Ravens, I'm going to say the Ravens are not contenders. I'm going to say they're pretenders. You look at the games that they've lost. They've lost 3 games on the season, and they've led in every single one of those games. Lamar has not played up to his previous 3 weeks of the season. He's not been playing good. He can definitely turn that around. It's only going to be week 7. But you definitely have a lot of questions, offensively, and tons of more questions defensively in that secondary for the Ravens. So for that, I don't have them as contenders. That can definitely change. It's only week 7, but right now, I don't think they are a legit team to go out there in the playoffs and win multiple playoff games in a Super Bowl. Cincinnati Bengals, they're contenders. Even with a very roughed up and horrible offensive line, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase are able to get things done, and that defense is pretty solid as well. New York Jets, 4-2, but they're the Jets, not contenders. Zach Wilson is not a guy right now. You can just tell that the Jets don't have faith in him throwing the football, like they do with Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco can sling that thing around 65 times a game. Zach Wilson, he's not even hitting 20. Tennessee Titans, they're not contenders. They're leading that division in the AFC South, but really the AFC South is a bunch of crap. So I don't think there's any team from there that's going to be a legit contender. The Chargers, right now I'd say they are contenders. Justin Herbert is a guy. They still haven't had Keenan Allen back since week 1. Bro has a hamstring injury. It seems like it's severe. He's been missing so much time. Their defense sucks. Their defense is horrible. J.C. Jackson has allowed some of the most yards he's ever had in his entire career. But looking at just their offense alone, their offense is enough to keep them and potentially have them winning some games. This one is interesting. The New York Giants. If you remember in last episode, I said the Giants are frauds. Since then, the Giants are now 5-1. The Giants just won a game. They're 5-1. Am I going to double down, or am I going to back? Am I going to change my stance? Am I going to say, you know what? No. I was wrong. The Giants are contenders. I'm going to double down. The Giants are not contenders. The Giants are frauds. All right? Do they have a good team? Are they playing good football? Hell yeah, they are. Brian Dable, their new head coach, former coordinator with the Bills, is turn this entire offense and this team around. Saquon Barkley's playing amazing football. Daniel Jones is doing enough. That defense is rolling. That offensive line is playing pretty solid too. I cannot find a way to say that this team is legit. There's no way. I just cannot get myself to say that the Giants are contenders and the Giants are a team that can win a Super Bowl, because I don't think that's true. And you would really have to have a great argument to say that the Giants are a team that can win a Super Bowl this year. So they're not contenders. The Cowboys are contenders, though. With an amazing Super Bowl caliber defense, they have a chance to do some special stuff this season. And the Cooper Rush versus Dak Prescott debate is over. After the loss to the Eagles, let me find the stats here because, these conversations were just hilarious. I don't even know if I put it down. I might have to pull it up on ESPN. I thought I wrote it down in my notes. But no, this conversation of Cooper Rush or Dak Prescott, who do the Cowboys start? Yeah, Cooper Rush won you guys 4 straight games. But, I mean, you look at the numbers, you look at these statistics that Cooper Rush has been putting up. Dak Prescott is going to do so much better. Cooper Rush, 1,000 yards, 5 touchdowns, 3 picks in 6 games this season. 5 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Let's go look at the game log against the Eagles from Sunday Night Football, because this will definitely be interesting to look at. The Eagles beat them 26-17. You look at how Cooper Rush did. 181 yards, 3 interceptions, and a touchdown. 18 for 38 passing. Dak Prescott's not going to do that. So when you have a Super Bowl caliber defense and you are going to add Dak Prescott back to an offense that has great weapons, Zeke, Tony Pollard, Dalton Schultz, Michael Gallup, and CeeDee Lamb, with that defense, the Cowboys are contenders. Sign me up for that all day long. Green Bay Packers, this one's interesting too. There's definitely a conversation to be had here about this team. They've lost 2 straight games against teams that they should have beat. They should have beat the Jets and they should have beat the Giants. Aaron Rodgers is still there at quarterback. Yeah, their receiving weapons are concerning. And Aaron Jones hasn't got a lot of play, but that defense can do its thing. So I'll say the Packers are still contenders at this point in the season. I believe they're a team that can make a Super Bowl. Tampa. Tom Brady is still the quarterback, correct? They're contenders. The Rams, I don't think the Rams are contenders. I really don't. I think they have an offensive line that's not good. It is a bad offensive line. They haven't done anything to address it. They have really no running game. And outside of Cooper Kupp, Matthew Stafford is not throwing the ball to anyone else. And that defense is playing okay. But the Rams, for me, are not contenders. And the 49ers, I do have as contenders, especially after getting Christian McCaffrey. I think they're a team that can definitely go out there and win a Super Bowl. So that's the Week 6 recap. Let's just go over this Thursday Night Football game real quick from Week 7. This delay of a podcast really is messing some things up. Cardinals pick up a win, though, 42-34. The big news out of this game, the Saints are no longer going to win the Bird Gauntlet this season. What is the Bird Gauntlet? Oh, come on, man. I thought you'd know this. The Bird Gauntlet. The Saints play every single team this season that has a bird name, bird mascot. They played the Falcons and the Seahawks. They won both those games. And they played the Cardinals. They played the Eagles. And they played the Ravens. And unfortunately, with this loss to Arizona, the Saints are unable to win the Bird Gauntlet. So that was really the only thing that was that the Saints really had looking towards this season was winning that Bird Gauntlet, and they lose it. So their season is over. Arizona, though, picks up a much-needed win. DeAndre Hopkins' first game back, and he plays amazing. Andy Dalton throws a few picks for the Saints. That's how we start off Week 7 with some Thursday Night Football action in a very good Thursday night game. It's been a while since we had a good one. A lot of bad offenses, a lot of boring games. This was a nice Thursday Night Football game to have with some nice high-scoring offense and some nice exciting plays. Looking ahead, though, in the rest of Week 7, there's just not a lot of good matchups to be had. Baltimore against Cleveland. Kansas City versus 49ers is kind of a good one. Sunday Night Football, though, is the Steelers and the Dolphins. What? And Monday night is Bears-Patriots. So these primetime games are definitely lackluster, to say the least. Let's move on, though. We're going to talk some playoff baseball. The San Diego Padres upset the Dodgers in the division series Too bad we're a few days late because I would have loved to talk about this more because it's pretty much old news at this point. So we'll just get into these NL and ALCS conversations. I mean, real quick, I'll say the Dodgers and this playoff bracket and format. There's been a lot of talk since the Dodgers and the Braves and the Mets have lost these their playoff games. People are saying, and it's fans of these teams that are saying this. So that's why their argument is immediately invalid. Oh, the playoffs is not fair. It does not value teams that win hundreds of games because we got to buy and the other teams get to play more baseball, so they're already in the heat of the postseason, and that's an advantage. Bro, shut up, bro. All right, the bye is a very valuable thing to have. Your guys get to be rested. You get to pitch your best 3 pitchers out there in the first 3 games of that division series. So when it comes to the Dodgers and when it comes to the Braves, those teams, yeah, they won 100-plus games in the regular season. And if you're the Dodgers, you had one of the best records and best regular season teams of recent memory. But you did not get the job done when it matters. The regular season does not mean anything when you get to the playoffs. And the argument that people are saying right now, the stuff that people are saying about this NLCS between the Phillies and the Padres, saying that this series, these teams are both cute teams. They got lucky to be here. Dude, no, these teams are playing great baseball. You look at the Phillies, their offense is shining. They have great pitchers. And you look at the Padres, it's the same case for them. So these 2 teams in the NLCS are the best teams in the NL right now. That's just facts. Regardless of regular season wins, that does not matter when you get to the postseason because the Phillies and the Padres are the 2 best teams in the National League right now because they just beat every other team and they're playing some of the best baseball. If we had the Dodgers and the Braves here, then those are the 2 best teams in the NL, but we don't have that. So there's no way you need to be complaining about this playoff bracket. These fans of these teams need to learn to take an L, especially Dodgers fans. They just want to talk and clown and just make so many excuses. I've seen these excuses that they've made since they lost. Oh, an 85, 89 win regular season. You guys celebrating like it's a World Series. Oh, you guys haven't won anything. The Dodgers are still the best. Dude, I don't know if you can say that, bro. Yeah, you beat the Padres like every single time during the regular season, but you didn't beat them when it matters most. You did not beat them in October, in playoff baseball, in the divisional series. So props to the Padres and props to the Phillies. And these 2 teams right now in the NLCS are in a nice little battle. Oh, jeez, dude, my voice is going crazy. The Phillies won the first game of the series 2-0, and then the second game was a nice game to watch. I was watching most of that game. Offensive showcase for these 2 teams. Phillies have an amazing, what was it, second inning? They put up 4 runs. It was looking rocky for Blake Snell and for the Padres. Bottom of the second, what happens? Brandon Drury, Josh Bell, back-to-back dingers. Padres are back in this game. Then you get a Juan Soto clutch hit. All of a sudden, the Padres are up 7-4. They end up winning this game 8-5. Series tied 1-1. Heading back to Philadelphia. This game is at least going to go 5. This series is at least going to go 5 games. Who do I think is going to end up winning this? Because we didn't have time before the series starts to predict. I think Philadelphia is going to come out of this. Philly's going to the World Series. Their offense is insane. They're all clicking. They're all hot right now. And that pitching staff with Nola, Wheeler, Ranger Suarez, and Noah Syndergaard, that pitching staff is doing wonders right now. I know Nola didn't have a great game against the Padres in Game 2, but he's had enough great games in the postseason and in the last few weeks to be reliable going forward. Give me the Phillies over the Padres in 7. I think this is going to be one of the best series in recent memory. And the Astros and Yankees. Houston has a 2-0 lead on them. I mean, the Astros are the best team in baseball. I think the Astros are going to the World Series, and they're going to beat the Phillies. Honestly, they could probably win in 5 games. This Astros team is incredible. The Astros are just... They're the best team in baseball. Let's go over some NBA real quick. The NBA regular season just started, and the Lakers are 0-2. Lost to the Warriors on opening night, and then they just lost to the Clippers tonight, 103-97. This Lakers team looks horrible. They are one of the worst They're the worst 3-point shooting team currently in the league. Their offense is bad. Their defense sucks. Russell Westbrook is losing trade value every minute, every second he's out on the floor. I don't know why the Lakers just don't play him, because you're better off not playing him so you can actually get something when you trade him. I mean, look at this box score tonight from Russell Westbrook, because it is absolutely atrocious from a guy that's supposed to be 0 of 11 from the field, 0 of 6 from 3. Russell Westbrook ended the game with 2 points, playing 27 minutes. Look at the rest of the Lakers starting lineup. Davis, 25 points on 9 of 16 shooting. LeBron, 20 on 7 of 17. Lonnie Walker put up 26. He went 9 of 21. This Lakers team cannot shoot the ball. I mean, I feel like that's pretty easy to tell. And you look at this Lakers, oh my gosh, this Lakers roster is so bad. Wow. The Lakers, Jesus Christ. Yeah, dude, I don't know I don't think the Lakers, it's 2 games in, yeah, but the Lakers are playing absolutely horrible. Like, this is bad. And the Clippers played pretty solid. Kawhi Leonard didn't get a start. He came off the bench, put up 14. John Wall put up 15. Paul George put up 15. Zubac put up 14. Morris put up 14. Very balanced scoring night for the Clippers. Yeah, the Lakers suck. Russell Westbrook needs to not play so they can have his trade value remain at a constant level. Because the more seconds Russell Westbrook is out on the floor, his trade value, it doesn't just fall slowly. It's like a freaking vertical line. That's how steep his trade value falls every second he's out on the court. What else was impressive so far from the NBA? The Bucks won their first game of the season. The Sixers fell to 0-2. James Harden had a nice game, and Giannis is, still one of the best players in the game. Obviously, I mean, he is the best player in the game. It's really weird to recap basketball because these first games of the season, I'm not gonna overreact. There's 82 games. The Nets, though, they do lose their opener. They get blown out by the Pelicans. The Pelicans are gonna be a really, really good team. I think Zion's MVP odds went from 60-1 to 15-1 in the span of one game. I don't even know how he performed in this game. I didn't check the stats, so let's see. Zion put up 25 points in 30 minutes. Zion is an incredible player. I mean, wow. If he stays on the floor and he stays healthy, he's gonna have a legit chance of winning MVP someday, and it could very well be this season. The Hornets beat the Spurs, and the Jazz. Wow, the Jazz pick up a win against the Nuggets. And the Suns. Wow, the Suns hold off Luka. Luka drops 35 points, but the Suns come back to beat them. That was a nice little revenge game on opening night for them. Yeah, so the NBA is underway. That'll definitely be a lot of fun to talk about going forward in these next few episodes for the next few months. Finally, college football, the Tennessee Volunteers took down the Alabama Crimson Tide. First of all, I want to say that Saturday, what date was it again? Let me pull it up here. Saturday, the 15th, was one of the greatest days in sports history. You have the ALCS, NLCS, college football, upsets everywhere. Wow, that Tennessee game against Alabama. Tennessee was ranked 6 heading into that. Alabama was at 3. Now those two teams switched rankings with the Tennessee win. Tennessee is a top 3 team in the nation. Final score 52-49 on a game-winning field goal from Tennessee. Alabama had a chance to win the game on a field goal too, but their kicker missed wide left. Hendon Hooker had himself a Heisman game. I said last episode, I believe it was, he's probably the number 3 guy on my Heisman Trophy list. You very well could put him number 2. 21 of 30 with 5 touchdowns, 385 yards. What a performance by him. And Jalen Hyatt, of Tennessee. 6 receptions, 207 yards, and 5 touchdowns. That is a all-time performance from a wide receiver in college football. That is one of the greatest individual single games in college football history. And this win for Tennessee is incredible. Tennessee is a legit team this season. They could very well make the playoffs. And a lot of stuff happened in that weekend. I mean, the rankings changed a lot. I'm pulling them up right now. I mean, Georgia remained at number 1, and Ohio State remained at number 2. They had a bye. Michigan moves up 1 spot to number 3. Tennessee climbs 4 spots after beating Bama. Oh, sorry, I was looking at the wrong poll. Georgia 1, Ohio State 2. Tennessee jumps up 3 spots to number 3. Michigan moves from 5 to 4. Clemson drops 1. Bama drops 3. Ole Miss, number 7, they bump up 2. TCU up 5 spots. They're number 8. UCLA cracks the top 10 at number 9. Oregon is at number 10. Oklahoma State and USC both drop with some losses. USC, real quick, I want to talk about them since they are on my team. Their season is over. They may be 6-1, but they have no chance of making the college football playoff with the loss to Utah. Really, their only chance now is to make the Rose Bowl, which I hope does happen. They'll probably play either Michigan or Ohio State, depending on who doesn't make the playoff out of those two teams. Probably would expect it to be Michigan, since Ohio State's really good, but Michigan's incredible too. But the college football playoff is not going to feature USC this season after that 1-point loss to the University of Utah. And anything else? This episode was supposed to come out on Tuesday, but I had to push it back. Got that illness going on right now. So very, very short episode. Light NFL recap. Just ran through everything. Light NBA recap. Just a light episode. I don't think that's that big of a deal. My eyes hurt really freaking bad. We'll come out with another episode very, very soon, recapping NFL Week 7 and whatever else happens in this weekend of sports. Expect it to be wild. I mean, sports is incredible, beautiful, awesome. Thank you guys, though, so much for tuning in to episode number 10 of The Franchise. Available on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. You can support the podcast clicking the link on the Spotify homepage. Anything is appreciated. And thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode, and I will see you guys in the next one.